I'm Mike Sullivan. Today we'll talk about how you can get the most possible distance out of your tee shots. So what I want to talk about today is how to help you get the most distance off the tee, and I'm talking to the majority of golfers. More than half the golfers, and yes, more than half of the male golfers. The truth of the matter is this: most people do not generate enough ball speed to make their driver go farther than their 3 would. And here's the reason why. I'd like you to think for a second about a water hose, a garden hose in your hand with water flying out of that garden hose. As you start to say water the flowers on the other side of your yard, you're going to get a certain amount of distance that water is going to come out of that hose, and that water is traveling at a certain amount of speed. Almost always, if you add trajectory by aiming the garden hose up a little bit higher, what happens is that water comes flying out and it travels farther in the air and thus reaches your flowers. Well, that's the same exact thing that happens with a driver versus when you go to a fairway wood. Okay? So most people just don't have enough ball speed to have that driver trajectory give them the most distance. So one of the things that may come to mind is, well, I may not carry it as far as my 3 wood, but maybe I'll get more roll. Think about it this way. What's going to give you less friction as the ball tries to move down the fairway? Air or the ground? There's a lot of friction when that ball hits the ground. So one thing that came up years and years ago, actually, was with all this launch monitor testing is some of these big companies, they realize that you're going to get a lot more distance if you carry the ball in the air. We're not trying to really roll the ball on the ground unless there's a major wind situation. So we want the ball to fly in the air as far as possible. Some things that people do, by the way, on the negative side to try to get their ball to fly farther is they hit their driver and they get a little active with their hands trying to add loft to get the ball up in the air, which is not good for your golf swing. There's another thing we can also do, by the way, and Tour Edge did this a couple of years ago. They took a fairway wood and they made the shaft on the fairway wood driver length. So what happens is you get driver type ball speed with a 3 wood trajectory, which is really going to be great for most golfers. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'm not saying get rid of your driver, but what I am saying is, number one, when you choose what club you want to tee off with or what club you want to invest in, take a good hard look at the best fairway wood for you. Find a fairway wood that you absolutely love and get used to hitting that club off the tee. I think you'll find, number one, you'll hit the ball in the fairway more often. Even if you do have a lot of club head speed, you'll probably shoot lower scores. And number two, if you are like most golfers, you're flat out going to get not only more accuracy, but more distance if you tee off with that 3 wood. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up for a like. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be notified by email each time that we produce a new instructional video.